Welcome back to the Player's Edge, everybody. Tonight, as you can see, we're down a man again. Tom, 22-1. Tom is scratched. But tonight we have with us trainer Todd Fincher from Zia Park. We're going to talk a little bit of Halloween racing. Todd, how are you tonight?
We're doing great.
Good. Fantastic. We have the normal crew with us, minus 22-1. Tom, he's probably out there looking for a weekend-long shot. Swiss Army Sean. Sean, haven't seen you since the sports show. How are things going?
I know. On Thursdays, man, I see a bunch.
Oh, too much for me.
Hey, Todd, how are you?
Doing great.
So what would you say is your strengths as a trainer, and what are things that you think you could work on a little bit more?
I'm always trying to you'd probably have to ask somebody that question about my strengths. I don't like to talk about that, but evaluating talent has always been a strength of mine. You know, our program, we break a lot of yearling, put a lot of horses through our program. And so I get to see them from the beginning stages as they develop. And I think I developed a good way of seeing the talent level, seeing how they might progress, and horses that won't meet our program. And, you know, we get horses that we're just not in love with, and we don't see much positive coming out of them in the future. We try to sell those horses and lower our stable and keep a number where it's big to handle. And we get those horses out into other people's hands and run against them and help the population, help other trainers, owners get horses that aren't so expensive and can run. And the purses we run at in New Mexico are pretty good. So I've sold several horses. It's broke their maiden and maiden special weights that are good purses, you know, like a Zia Park, the maiden special weight's $36,000, and I'll sell horses from the farm from anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000. So evaluating talent's probably the only thing I'm going to really speak upon.
Okay. So since you can evaluate talent, then at the end of the night, you got to say which one of us stays and which one of us goes.
You know, if I don't think that, you know, most of my clients like stake horses or potentially stake horses. So the horses we don't think are the very best, we try to sell and move on and keep our stable down to a decent number, you know, which is great to have that problem. We have a big stable, and sometimes you get to where you have too much and you can't do as great a job as you like to for your clients. So we try to get those horses out to the public, and I mean out to different trainers and different owners at a cheap price. Protect our clients. You know, they want to have stake horses, and if we don't believe they're going to be stake horses, we just sell them and get them into other people's hands, and we end up running against them the rest of the year.
Sean, you sound like you had something else to say. Go ahead.
Oh, Todd, you've been at a number of different tracks too. What's your favorite track, and also what makes Zia so unique?
Well, Zia is the newest track that joined the New Mexico circuit about 15, 16, 17 years ago, like that. I actually won the first ever race run at Zia Park, so that's kind of special to me. Always done well there. I get along with the people very well. The money's has always been the best at Zia Park, although Sunland Park is really close to it, and Albuquerque has grown to be a lot pretty good money venue as well. So the racing's really there. I mean, I think all these tracks have a little bit of work to do, but they have the golden egg. If they treat it right, I think they'll have an outstanding product here soon in the future. The good thing about Sunland Park is outstanding stakes program. You know, Zia Park has a nice one too. It's scaled back a little this year, but Sunland has both roads to the Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks with 2 preps and then 1 race that can get you in either race. So that's a huge thing for New Mexico, and it's actually opened up I used to train mostly New Mexico breds, and now I have quite a few open horses, and we like to shoot for those big races.
And then, as always, we have Terry Hollywood. Hey, Terry, what's up tonight?
Hi, how are you? How are you doing, Todd? Good. Listen, I've been to Zia Park and I really loved it. Actually, I've been to all the tracks in New Mexico. One of my hobbies is to go to the tracks, different tracks in different states. I've been to 76 of them now. Anyway,
One for every year of life.
that's it. Yeah. Actually, I was wondering if I could ask you a quick question. I know you train both thoroughbreds and quarter horses. Which one do you feel is the hardest to train, or are they about both the same difficulty?
There's no doubt about it. A thoroughbred is much harder to train than a quarter horse.
Okay.
I think it's been proven through many studies that quarter horses are smarter than thoroughbreds, and you're basically teaching them to do break fast and run straight as hard as thoroughbreds. There's a lot more training goes into them, and a lot more miles and a lot of involved in thoroughbred racing. Quarter horse racing, it's those two things.
So just get out of the gate and get fast. Yes, that's what I think
That's
the one
it.
Hernandez told me from Prairie Meadows. Just pick the
Yeah.
ones that go straight and fast. I have a question for you. Terry and I, we do a daily show where we do news. And in the last month, maybe 5 weeks even, there have been three stories about horses getting mixed up at the starting gate. And I think 2 out of the 3 stories were in New Mexico. How does that happen?
Well, you mean actually mixed up in the gate?
No, mixed up like prior, like they sent the wrong horse out somehow. And I'm in one horse, in one thing, Terry, right? It was 2 horses that they sent to the wrong tracks even.
Yes.
Well, I guess that happens. They have safeguards for that, but I guess anything can slip through the cracks. Thankfully, in my career, that's never happened. I did one time at Zia Park. I had moved most of my stable to Southern, and I had like 5 horses left, and I had 4 grooms there, and everything was written down on the board. And they brought the horse up that was in the 10th race. They brought him up in for the 7th race. They got mixed up, so I had to scratch the one in the 7th race and the 10th. So I caught that as soon as they walked in the path. But I guess sometimes if the trainer don't catch it, it'll get by the identifier somehow, and it's happened. It's not the first time ever, but that's the only time it's ever happened to me, and I caught it immediately. Got in a little trouble for that, but
well, at least you caught it. I would say too, you mentioned that you guys have the goose that lays the golden egg. Terry and I were talking about a story out in California where some politicians want to get rid of the horse racing, at least the state sponsorship of horse racing. Maybe might have a lot of horses from California find their way your way if the politicians have their way.
yeah, I mean, we would welcome anybody from California to New Mexico. One problem we have in New Mexico that deters people from coming is we run split meets. We run basically almost half quarter horse to maybe 40% quarter horse to 60% thoroughbreds, and that doesn't give them enough opportunities to run. I think that the tracks need to work on running straight meets, and I think California people would love running New Mexico with way less restrictions, and the purses are outstanding. And like I said, Zia Park, all our tracks in New Mexico actually try to have a good program for stakes races, but Zia Park and Sunland have been the biggest and had the best stakes programs. Like Ruidoso, it's the funnest place to run horses. The atmosphere is outstanding. The weather's great in the summertime. I mean, every track we move to, we're weather friendly, so we're in the hottest part in the winter and the coldest part in the summer. So they have that down pretty good. But I think what deters California people from coming is the lack of opportunities to run. And I think these tracks are going to work on that. And they have great breed program here in New Mexico. They have like I said, a great stake schedule, not only for New Mexico breds, but open horses. Like I said, Sunland Park has both trails to the Kentucky Derby and Oaks. So a lot of good things in New Mexico. The purses are great. And if these tracks that just finally get everything together, this pandemic hurt everybody, but
For sure.
we have great places to run here.
So Zia Park, that's where we're going to focus on Halloween. It seems to me from Terry and I, we've done some pick fours at Zia Park recently, watching some races getting prepped for this. It looks to me like speed has a little bit of an advantage at Zia Park. Have you found that to be the case? It seems like regardless of distance.
Well, what I'd say is we started off, and I think our track was very fair for the first 2 weeks. And then by the third week, it was major speed bias. They were running faster than they should be running. Anything that made it out to the lead held on. And this last week was a lot better. It might still have a little bias for speed, but I don't believe that it's a major bias. And I think the TrackMan's doing a good job adapting and getting everything straight. The mile races, one thing I'll note on those is speed is huge, and not necessarily speed, but it's almost runs like like at the fairgrounds track. You need to be close to the rail. You don't want to be parked 3 or 4 wide around those turns. You get down on the rail. You just need to find a horse if you're handicapping that's got some speed. Don't have to be the main speed, but some speed that's going to be down on the inside. And if you can watch race after race, and it is a bias there.
Okay, well, we'll talk about exactly 1 mile in race number 10. So we're going to start in race number 9, which is the New Mexico Classic Cup Juvenile Championship Stakes. This is going to be 6 furlongs on the main track, and I think you have 3 horses in this race, right?
I have 4.
4 horses? Oh, I must have missed one. I had the 1, the 3, the 6, and I must have missed one. My apologies.
That's 7 as well.
And the 7. I must have stopped writing after the 6. Well, it's the old man in me. I make a lot of mistakes. Tell us a little bit about your horses, Todd.
Well, like I said, this is our program. We deal with young horses. We bring them along as they come. Last year, the pandemic hurt me. My stable usually breaks about 50 yearlings a year, and we broke like 23 New Mexico bred yearlings. So it went down last year, but we seemed to pull through with some pretty good horses that have made it this far and have all done well. They've all made some money and look like any one of the horses could have a chance there. The problem with Mark's Warrior is, like you said, it might be a little bit of a speed bias track, and he needs a speed to stop. I mean, he has no whatsoever. He hit an Albuquerque track that's a major speed bias track, major inside speed, and he was on the outside, and he just doesn't have any speed. He's going to need some help with the speed laying down. The Monterey, he ran a good race the other day. Stuck on the rail, got pulled back, went wide, got beat less than a length. He's been a very solid horse. He's never shown to be. He's just one of those horses that's progressively getting better. So I would expect him to wouldn't throw him out. Absolutely.
Yeah, seeing 5 straight speed figure increases.
Yes, I mean he's definitely progressing. Action Junkie ran a really good race. He was caught about 3 wide on that same 30 where the speed and rail was key. He ran into a really nice filly. I think she's won 2 stakes races. Luckily, we don't have to face her today. He's doing great, and I like his spot. Also, Lonzo Hu, he got caught wide also in the speed inside race. He's doing very well, and he's got as good a shot as anybody in there. So that's a wide open race. That's a good betting race. I would think those 3 of mine all have a legitimate chance to win. And like I said, Mark's Warriors have to hope for a speed jam, and he'll come lumbering through there.
If not one of yours, which is the one folks should look out for?
I think there's several. I mean, the 10 horse ran I don't know, out of the blue, great race the other day. And that Where's Braden's been tough, but we beat him with Action Junkie last time pretty handily when he was on the lead and inside of us. So he got back and barely beat lead Monterey. I don't think there's a big difference in about 7 or 8 of these horses are pretty close. So you're just going to that'd be a chance I'd find the jockey I like and trusted the most. And that could be the deciding factor.
I see. Sean, you're typically a jockey guy. So how do you line them up?
So I went with the pace thing, which I usually do too. I thought the number 2 Zenfully Zesty kind of looked like the clear leader here. I didn't see too many others. Seen others that might sit right near him, but not much has done pressure him. Has never been out of the exacta and has never lost a race by more than a length. Buyer has improved every race. Class is going to be tested, but plenty of other things working to his favor. I think he overcomes that. And then I went with the other horse that Todd suggested, number 10, Real Penny, stepping up in class, but improving every race. Another one that should be close to the pace and get good position from outside post. Has really good races on a fast dirt track, including last race, which was a victory at the same track. And then I went number 5, so I've kind of gone all long shots here. Number 5's won 2 in a row in the last race, beat some of these horses in this race. Worth taking a shot on this horse. If you can get double digits odds, you have an 18% jockey and a trainer that's 5 for 10 for the year. The only thing that works to his disadvantage is I think he's going to be coming off the pace, and I don't think there's a lot of pace in here.
Besides you picking him? No, just kidding. How about you, Terry? How do you see it breaking out?
I like number 8, Where's Braden? He closed last race to just miss against several of the horses in this race. And the trainer wins 23% of the time when he brings a beaten favorite back to the races. And his best dirt speed, his fastest among today's starter, are actually tied. And then I like number 2, Zestfully Zesty. He has either ran first or second in all 4 of his racing career, winning one of those races. And then number 5, Rig Rider, won 2 races in a row, including beating several of the entries in this race. And the trainer jockey combo in the last 14 days have had 2 mounts and 2 wins. And then number 6, Action Junkie, has a high percentage trainer, which is Todd Fincher, of course.
On the show, yes.
Yeah, he's 42 mounts. He's had 13 wins, 8 seconds, and 8 thirds, a 31% win percentage, and the highest last race speed rating, and he has the best dirt speed among today's starters. The trainer jockey combination the last 14 days have a record of 4 mounts, 2 wins, 1 second, 1 third, and a really good workout at Zia Park, 1 minute 4, and is the best out of 9, or third best out of 9.
Normally Terry's the one that agrees with the guest the most, but I guess that's going to be my rule tonight. I got Todd's horse, Action Junkie on top with the 8 horse that is Where's Braden. When I first saw that, I was like, wait a minute, with all that stuff that's going on these days with these chants and stuff, I was like, oh no. But anyway, there will be a horse that has that name. I have no doubt about that. And then number 2 is my third pick, and that is Zestfully Zesty. A little bit of an alliteration with the Z's, and then I closed it out with Todd's 7 horse, the one that he mentioned there, Lonzo Who. If you just go back 1 race to Albuquerque and he repeats that race, I feel like that race could be good enough to get this job done here. We're going to move on to race number 7. This one is the mile, and you had mentioned at a mile for the Pepper's Pride New Mexico Classic Cup Championship, Fillies and Mares. Ooh, that's a lot to get out without a breath in there.
Race 10, Todd.
Yeah.
Race 10, yes. So you mentioned inside speed is probably the way to go here. And you have 1 horse in this race. Hopefully I got that right. That's the 2 Slam that looks like it's a really heavy favorite. Why is this horse, in your opinion, the odds makers 3 to 5 favorite?
Well, that's hard to make any horse 3 to 5 on a morning line when there's a full field of 10, but she is an outstanding individual. She's head and shoulders above probably Mexico bred running on Sunday. She kind of had an attitude problem her entire life. She's very tough to deal with, but that's probably what makes her as good as she is. Her breeding is outstanding. I trained her mother, Hennessy Smash. She was 7 for 8 lifetime. She displaced the only time she got beaten, and marking has been amazing. New sire. This is his oldest crop, and he's had some outstanding horses, including her. No doubt in my mind she can get the distance. I've been training her for long, slower works with fast finishes. She's never weakened and galloped out strong. Good clean break, and I don't think there's anything in the state that can beat her.
Well, that's pretty bold. There. How about you, Tyler? Do you think there's anything in his race that can beat her?
No, I do not. I think she's won 5 out of 6 career starts. She has the best dirt speed among today's starters, and she has a trainer jockey combination who in the last 14 days have won 2 out of 4. And she has a really good workout, 36-1 breezing, third best out of 9. The only thing that I worried about a little bit is can she carry the speed a mile? But she did do 6.5 furlongs last race, and I think she's going to have no problem with that. Then I like number 8, Passion Bell, won this race at a mile, the distance of today's race. Yeah, she has a couple of works at Zia Park in preparation for this race. And then I like number 1, Autumn Touch, Passion Bell. Has finished in the money in all of her career races, winning one of the races. And then I like Our Time to Shine, number 10, has won 2 out of her last 3 races. One of the races is won at today's distance. So.
How about you, Sean? Who are your top selections for this race? 1 mile.
I match with Terry the top 3 and same exact top
Terry's
3.
stealing your notes too, huh?
Yeah.
They steal mine in the morning and yours in the afternoon.
You know, I look at the talent in the field. Obviously, Slam out talents everybody. Then you look at the jockey trainer. She's got good connections on that. Then you look at the pace, and she's got the advantage in the pace. So there is no disadvantage here. There's no advantage for any other horse.
So you think she goes off at 3 to 5, Sean, or you think you're going to get low odds?
Probably less.
Yeah, that's what I think.
It's hard to believe, but probably less. So she's going to win. I got Passion Bell, least raced horse in the field with the most potential besides Slam. Has a really good late pick. Raced the mile distance last time. I really liked it, winning by over 8 lengths and was on a hand ride. And then I went with number 1. She's been in the trifecta all 6 career races, so she's going to be around at the end. Again, will be coming at the end.
I got the same 2 up top, Slammed in the 8 horse, but I got a little bit different in the back end there. I got number 3, Shugs Charlie, and I have the 5 horse. It's my 4th pick, and that is Short Pockets. Terry, we talk about this all the time, but I do a lot of pace. I'm starting to do more and more trying to match horse to bias, because I find that I'm catching longer shots that way that might not show up in like the traditional ways of handicapping. So without really realizing it, I did focus a little bit on the horses that got a little bit to the inside, have a chance to get to the rail and maybe take advantage of that inside speed on at a track that might favor horses that can get to the rail, as Todd shared with us. Finally, the big race of the day is the New Mexico Sprint Classic Cup. Well, at least that's the headliner. That one is, again, back to 6 furlongs. You've had 25 races at the distance, 17 of them won by speed. Looks to me like is the rail maybe a benefit, Todd, on the longer run, but maybe a little bit of a detriment on these shorter races, because it looks like the win rate's a little bit lower at the 6 furlong.
Yeah, 6.5. The 1 hole is not where you want to be. I don't know if you've ever watched the head-on races at Zia Park. The configuration of the 6 furlong, 6.5 furlong shoot. They actually leave the 1 and 2 hole, leave the gate, have to move to the right to avoid hitting the rail. So it wasn't properly constructed. Let's just put it that way. So in a shorter field, they'll move the horses out away from the rail. But when you have full field, they're going to have to get out of the gates very well. And then I think you have much of a problem. But you have the gap there, and you also have where you need to move off the rail. So 6.5, I do not like the 1 hole Park. I mean, if you get a good break, you're probably fine, but it can be a detriment, absolutely.
So the 1 horse being the favorite, that's kind of a detriment to him. And this race, I'm hoping I got 1 out of 2 right. So let's see if I can go 2 out of 3 like Meatloaf and not be bad. You have 3 horses in this race, right?
Correct.
All right, good. Can you tell us about them?
Yes, Evacuee is one of those horses that needs the speed to come back to him. He's actually run a pretty good race last 2 times, even though he ran 3rd and 5th the time before he won. I'm stuck on him. I probably could have put him in the mile race. I decided not to. He might be better at a mile. Hard to say. He's still a hard one to figure out. He's not a horse to train, but he needs lay down, which there's plenty of pace in this race. And then I Golden Band, who can sit in a good spot. furlongs. I tried him last time. He's training. He does not like the 7 furlongs. 6 furlongs is his max distance. So he's beat the favorite Hollywood Henry in a 5.5, which was tough to do at Albuquerque, but they were smoking up front. But he's got enough pace to be in a good spot. You know, he'll be 4th or 5th, hopefully in a good spot, because you've got this 6 horse that's got tons of speed. You got the 1 that has tons of speed. You have the 11 that has tons of speed. So he won't be on the lead, but hopefully he'll be in a good spot. And then Cerveza, he's just been a bad luck horse his whole career. He's made 131,000 and probably with some luck could have made 300,000, but he drew in a good spot where he can sit off of that pace and be in a good spot. And he's got enough speed like Golden Band where he can sit up there close too. So I look for Cerveza and Golden Band to run big. Evacuate, you never know about. He's like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get. Yeah.
That's my saying. When I love when you have to handicap without the odds, and then you look to see what odds you got after the odds come out. And to me, it is just like a box of chocolates. I don't know what I'm going to get. And usually I handicap better that way. Terry, how did you handicap this one?
Okay, I like number 1 Hollywood Henry. Won his last race at Zia Park. He's won 3 out of 6 at Zia Park and likes the distance. He has the best dirt speed among today's starters. And then I like number 3 Delmar Summer. Likes the distance, finishing 87% of the time in the money, winning 25% of those races. He likes Zia Park. He's finished 75% of the money there, and he won 25% of those races. Then I like Todd's number 5, Golden Band. He's finished in the money 6 out of the last 7 races. He finished 6th in his last race, but has an excuse as he was brushed early and came 4 wide into the stretch. And he has a good trainer in Todd Fincher. And then number 8, Storm and Fast, has won 2 of his last 4 races, and he likes the distance and Zia Park.
Sean, how do you stack them? I can't hear you, man, because you've muted yourself, Sean.
I said Terry stole some of my picks. Yeah, he don't have my top pick, but other than that, we're on board. I got number 8, Storm and Fast, has been really improved, has been in the trifecta in 9 of his last 12 races, winning 4 of them. Should be able to sit about mid-pack and close from there, and there's going to be a ton of speed, like Todd said, in this race. So I don't think speed's going to be an advantage here. And then I went with number 3, Delmar Summer. This could be one that's up front, but if this one just sits off, could be a factor. It can do both. Has finished in the exact in half his dirt starts, 8 of 16 races. Loves the distance, finishing the exact of 6 of 8. And the layoff shouldn't be a factor as he's performed well off of other layoffs. And then I went with one of Todd's horses, number 5, Golden Band. Throughout the last race, he brushed early and then got a wide trip. And like Todd said, he didn't like the 7 furlongs neither. Another one, he can sit mid-pack or close from deep, and there'll be a hot pace.
I like the 9 horse is my top pick. I liked him before. Todd mentioned he's got a hard luck life where he should have made 300 and he's only made 100, which is not bad, but that sounds like my life. So it's like I have a connection to that horse. But when you look at the last race, those early pace figures, those mid pace figures, the fractions, they're much improved from the previous spot. And that, to me, as a handicapper, tells me that's a horse that's probably rounding into form or getting into better shape. Todd, would you say that's an accurate read when you see numbers like that?
Something y'all are missing is he's reunited with the jockey that's had the most success with him. Everybody that I put on there has rode him differently. And he's only run 1 bad race with Luis Fuentes. I'm not sure what happened that day, but Luis Fuentes fits this horse really well. And if you look back for him, every time he's rode him, he's run good except one time. So that's another horse that I like.
Well, another good thing about the number 9 horse is he can either run on top or he can come from close off the pace. And I like horses that are versatile that way.
Yeah, indeed. I like the beer name too, so that's a good. And then I have number 8 as my second pick. Seems like Storm and Fast is everybody's second pick. Then I got the rail horse because I did notice there seems to be something wrong or difficulty, and I didn't know until Todd explained to us it's because they have to go to the right to avoid running into the rail. So so that's a little bit of an impediment, I would think. And then I wrapped it up with the 3-horse. So it seems like we got a lot of similar horses, but just in a little bit different order. Del Mar Summer. That wraps up our Halloween racing selections for the Zia Park on Sunday in the afternoon. Todd, if folks want to follow along with you or your barn, how would they do that?
Well, I don't do much advertisement or social media, but I am on Twitter. I don't post much. Watch the race. I'm always around.
So if somebody was interested in buying a horse from you, say, because you mentioned that horses that perhaps don't have the cut to be a stakes horse, but might be somebody who wants to, get into it, not spend a whole lot of money to get started, one of those $1,000 to $5,000 horses, could they contact you to do that? Or is that something that, how would that work?
Yeah, they can, but usually I don't make that decision until February or March. So I'm not going to put my phone number out there, but I'm sure if somebody really wanted to get a hold of me, I'm sure they could get my number.
Yeah, well, Sean managed to do it.
Yeah,
Sean can do it. Anybody can do
no
it.
problem.
All righty, folks. That wraps up the Players Edge tonight. Todd, we wish you nothing but a ton of success on Sunday and every day, of course. We appreciate you coming on the show. Sean, before we get up and out of here, what should folks do if they like what they saw tonight?
Subscribe here first and foremost, and then also Facebook and Twitter, Horse Racing Radar.
Absolutely. Give us a thumbs up if you like it. Like us on Facebook. Every time we go live, you'll be notified. Todd, once again, our pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great, great, great Sunday meet.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Good
you.
luck to you.
Good luck, everybody, and may all your picks end up in the winner's circle.